Everyone, I think I'm live. I'm Helen of Ripples Crafts Yarn. Welcome to my slot at Yorkshire Yarn Festival. I've got so much to show you and I hope that you will bear with me. I'm not used to doing these live broadcasts, but we'll work our way through it. So first of all, just to tell you a little bit about me, I wanted to show you this. This is a photograph of where I live. So if I hold that up to the camera, you can see I live in an area of the Scottish Highlands called Assynt, and I'm in a little village called Cloudsley, which is on the North Coast 500. So if ever you're driving the North Coast 500 route, I'm situated right on the North Coast 500, and you're welcome to come and visit the dye shed. Just a little bit about me. I've been dyeing yarn since 2008 when we started Ripples Crafts. It's run by my husband and myself, Stephen and I. Stephen does the kind of background stuff, he does all the IT, and I do all the hands-on stuff in terms of I do all the dyeing of the yarn. So that's the two of us. We live off-grid here in Assynt, so we generate all our own power from wind and sun. And yes, we do get sunshine in the Scottish Highlands. It's remarkable quite how much we do get. So that just tells you a little bit about me, and to also say that most of the inspiration for the colours that I do come from the landscapes and seascapes around us. We have the sea just a little bit of, I can see it from here from the window in the workshop, and the hills are in the other direction. So always lots of inspiration to inspire new colourways. I'm just going to start the timer because I forgot to start that so that I don't run over. So I've got a few yarns to talk to you about today. The first one that I'm going to talk about is the Reliable Sock yarn. This was the very first yarn that I began dyeing when I started the business, and it's still in the range, and so that just tells you how fond I am of it and how reliable it is as a sock yarn. It's got 25% nylon, 75% merino wool. It is comes in both 4-ply and double knitting. So the 4-ply hanks are 100 grams, and the double knitting hanks are a chunky 150 grams. Both are enough. One hank is enough for a pair of socks, and just to say, I can get a pair for my husband. He's size 12, so I can get a pair of socks for him out of one of either the 4-ply or the double knitting, although for him I prefer using the double knitting because it knits up a lot more quickly. It comes in quite wildly variegated shades, because I just think socks are fun when they've got lots of colour in them. But I also do some more solid shades. So this is ripening brambles, the colour of brambles just before they're ready to be picked, when they're still that reddish colour. So it comes in either solid or variegated shades, and very, very variegated. And then you get the more semi-solid shades. This is crushed blaeberries. And it's 2 shades of purple, I would say, a really deep plummy purple. So that's a lovely colour as well, one of my favourites, I have to say. So yes, the Reliable Sock yarn, as I say, it's my oldest base. Been doing it since 2008, and it's still probably one of my most popular yarn bases in terms of reliability, and the one that folks go to for when they're looking for socks to knit socks. Then I want to talk to you about a completely different yarn base, and that is my Sylvan base. Now, as I mentioned, we live in the Highlands and we're surrounded by mountains. Sylvan is probably one of the most famous hills in the area. It's been used in films, it's used in TV shows, and it's extremely popular with climbers and walkers. I would have to admit I've never climbed it myself, but it's a hill that I see just about every day, and it's very distinctive. It's like a sugarloaf shape, and if ever you've seen it, you'll know that is Sylvan. So Sylvan is a mix of merino, silk and yak. It is very shiny. It takes dye absolutely beautifully. It knits up wonderfully. This is the variegated colour in the Shady Glen, and it's a little bit difficult to see on the camera, I would think, but it is a mix of greens and burnt yellows and some tealy bluey greens in there as well. So that's lovely shade, but on the whole I tend to dye up Sylvan in solid shades, and that is simply because it takes solid colours really well. So this is a mix of 5 colours. We've got Summer Swim at the top, and then Crushed Blaeberries, and we have Ascent Peat, which is a very popular neutral shade, sort of charcoaly grey colour. So that is Ascent Peat. Raspberries, which is a very bright cerise shade. Show you that. And Sunkissed, which is a beautiful deep golden yellow colour. And I put these 5 together because these are the 5 colours that I am thinking of using for the next Stephen West knit along. I know everybody's probably talking about that, but I wanted to try it in Sylvan this year and see how I get on with that. So those are the 5 colours that I'm probably going to be using. Sylvan Knitted Up has got lovely stitch definition. So this is Cloudsley by Isabel Kramer, knitted up in Sylvan, and I used the Sun-Kissed colour. And just to give you an idea on the back, it's got this cable panel down the back, and I wanted to show you the stitch definition that Sylvan gives you. So yes, a lovely, lovely drapey yarn, and one which I love working with, and I have to say is one of my favourites for wearing, just simply because of the quality of the yarn and the feel, the texture of it. It is beautiful against my skin, so I really love that yarn. Now I want to talk to you about a brand new yarn which I've bought into the range, and it's called Tralligal. And Tralligal again is an area of Ascent. It's a valley up near the little village of Inchnadump. If ever you've been in this part of the world, you'll know Ardfret Castle. So from Ardfret Castle, if you walk into the hills, you're walking up Tralligal. Tralligal is a non-superwash, organic merino 4-ply base. At the moment I've got it in limited colours, but please always remember, if there are any colours in the range that you don't see on the yarn base that you want, just get in touch. I can dye it for you. The website's www.ripplescrafts.com. And there is a contact us form on the website, so please just use that to get in touch with me, or you can message me on Instagram as well. I'm Ripples Crafts Yarn on Instagram. So as I say, it's a limited range of colours at the moment, but that's simply because I've only just got it in. There is 400 metres in 100 grams, and I'm doing it in a range of almost solid shades. So this one is Rowan Berries, a reddish shade. And then I'm also doing it in variegated colours. So this is Lochan in the Hills, a very popular colourway in the range. And it is a mix of greens and yellows and oranges, sort of golden yellows and oranges. So very much in the pumpkin theme that we've got going this week on the Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So Tralligal, I haven't got a full sample knitted up in it, but I wanted to show you something I'm working on. Sorry, just get that out the way. So this is, show you the right way around. This is a design from the very talented Carol Sunday, and this is called Tia Tiva, and it's quite a complex knit in parts, in that you'll see the stranded knitting bits here, they're knitted flat, whereas the rest of the garment is knitted in the round. But because it's a while since I've done any stranded knitting, I have to admit that this has been pulled out quite a few times, and the yarn is standing up very well to being frogged a number of times. So I'm very pleased with the way that it is working out. But yes, this is turning into quite a lovely knit, I think, and I think I'm going to love the finished result. I love the way that the curves are formed in the different colours because of the flat panels that are knitted into it. So that's Tia Tiva by Carol Sunday. I'm doing it in the Traligal yarn, and I'm using Deep Ascent Lochs and a Teal Tail for those two. So that is Traligal, the newest yarn in the range. Just check how much time I've got. Right, okay. The other 4 pliers that I do Buras, which is a singles merino. It's very shiny yarn. It's got a really deep shine to it. It's great for shawls and anything that you want that's very drapey. Again, this is again in the Shady Glen. Again, it comes in a range of almost solid shades to very variegated shades. So I do colours like the Weathered Fairy, which is a range of pinks and yellows in there, and a bit of blue and purple too, and some green. So a range of colours, and then I do more solid shades. One of my favourites, Slice of Lime. If I could put Slice of Lime in everything that I knitted, I think I probably would, even though I'm at heart a purple girl. So that's Buras. And then I do Kunyag, which is another peak in the area, climbed by many. Kunyag is a pure Blueface Leicester 4-ply. Again, it's a real sturdy, hard-working yarn, and it comes in a huge range of colours. So have a look at that. You can see it behind me here, actually. This is all Kunyag. You can see it there. I should have mentioned, sorry, when I was talking about the Buras, I used Buras in my Love Note sweater, which I know many of you have knitted, and I combined it with the Sylvan Lace Weight. So the two, Sylvan Lace Weight and the Buras together, was used for my Love Note sweater. And the colour I used in this was Deep Underwater. It's actually quite a bit darker than it's showing up on the screen, but yes, I used Deep Underwater for that. The final 4-ply I wanted to talk to you about is the Nadan Siren. Again, this comes in mostly solid shades. I tend to stick to solid shades for that. And it has a little fleck running through it. So, sorry, there we go, put it under the light. So it has an almost tweedy effect to it. Again, I've had this one for quite a number of years. It's a very popular yarn base, and I used it in last year's Slipstravaganza knit along. So it makes great shawls, but I've also used it for garments too, especially I do it in an Aran Weight as well, and the Aran Weight I use for sweaters, but I also use the Aran Weight for weaving. So this is a V-neck cowl, which I have, show you. So that's woven in the Nadan Siren Aran Weight. I love using the Aran for weaving. It's incredibly soft, but it weaves up really quickly. I've just got a rigid heddle loom, and so I use that for weaving a lot of shawls and scarves, just simply because it gives a lovely drape at the end. While we're on the subject of Aran weights, I also do Strathan Aran, which is a pure Blueface Leicester, and that's actually what I'm wearing in the sweater. And this is Telja knitted, designed by Jennifer Steinglass. So that's a Jennifer Steinglass design. Yeah, it's a really solid fabric, so it's very windproof and warm. Lovely. Okay, one last thing to tell you about, I think, and then my time is probably up, and that's the Cool Keen DK. which again, huge range of colours. So have a look at the website. I've used this yarn for knitting pop beads shawl, which you can see here. And you can, this is a great shawl to knit for playing around with colour. It's lovely. I've done numerous of these shawls in various yarn bases, but it's one of my favourite patterns. Okay, I think we're nearly out of time. Just to remind you, there's a little discount voucher. You just need to enter the code YYF when you're checking out on the website, and that'll be in place until Monday. And to say again that if you are passing on the North Coast 500, do pop in. You'll see my sign at the end of our road. You can't miss it. And any questions, just please contact me on the website www.ripplescrafts.com or on Ripplescrafts Yarn on Instagram. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been very brief and very quick, so it seems to have just whizzed by. Thank you very much. Bye.